So we'll start with the lecture. Breton cycle, it was developed by George Bailey Breton, an American mechanical engineer and inventor. Then we had seen these are the few assumptions in case of Breton cycle. Then Breton cycle consists of two processes, which are the cycle consists of total 4 processes, out of which 2 processes are constant pressure and 2 processes are isentropic process. Now, as discussed before, the Breton cycle is also called Joule cycle, and it is similar to the Rankine cycle. Rankine cycle also has 2 constant pressure processes and 2 isentropic processes. But what is the difference? In Breton cycle, we have single phase, that is air is having single phase, it will remain air only, whereas in Rankine cycle we have steam power plant, like water will get converted into steam, it is heated, it get converted into steam, then again it is condensed and so on. So there we have phase change in case of Rankine cycle. Then Breton cycle, it was first proposed by George Breton, and this is the Breton cycle where we have 4 components and hence the 4 processes, and these 4 processes will form a cycle. Now if you observe the PV and TS diagram, okay, all the see the arrows, these are in clockwise direction both on PV and TS diagram, meaning Breton cycle is a power producing cycle. Same way Rankine cycle, if you can recall, it was also having clockwise arrows on both PV, TS, HS, okay, HS diagram as well. So that Rankine cycle was also power producing cycle. Okay, whereas if you go to HVAC, heating, ventilation and air conditioning, there you will find cycles in anti-clockwise direction, meaning they are power consuming cycles. Okay, so here 1 to 2 is isentropic compression, 2 to 3 is constant pressure heat addition, 3 to 4 is isentropic expansion, and 4 to 1 is constant pressure heat rejection. So we have 4 components: compressor, heat exchanger, turbine and again heat exchanger. If you recall Rankine cycle, we had this, instead of this heat exchanger we had boiler, then turbine was there in Rankine cycle, it is there in Breton cycle as well. Then after turbine we had condenser in case of Rankine cycle. In Breton cycle again we have heat exchanger. Okay, actually condenser is also a type of heat exchanger, but what is the special about condenser? There we have phase change while exchanging the heat, but here we don't have phase change in case of this heat exchanger. And then in Breton cycle we have compressor since air is handled, and in case of Rankine cycle we have pump because water is handled. Okay, then I have already told these processes, and if you recall, in case of Rankine cycle, this compression here, instead of compressor we had pump in case of Rankine cycle, and that pump work was very small. But here for Breton cycle there is large amount of compressor work which is called back work, and it is around 40 to 80% of work output of the turbine. So here you can see compressor and turbine are coupled on the same shaft, so around 40 to 80% of the work developed by the turbine is again given back to the compressor. Okay, so because of this what will happen? W net will reduce. What is W net? WT minus WC. Compressor work developed, what is W net? It is turbine work developed minus compressor work consumed. So that will be less in case of Breton cycle. So what are the applications of Breton cycle? They are mainly used in gas turbine power plants, okay, and aircraft engines. Okay, now there is a concept which is called this is what it is called Breton cycle. We have a reversed Breton cycle also, okay, where instead of having clockwise arrows we have anti-clockwise arrows because it is reversed, and it is also called Bell-Coleman cycle, that we will study in HVAC, where that cycle, reversed Breton cycle or Bell-Coleman cycle, it is used for refrigeration or air conditioning using refrigerant as air. So there cooling occurs with the help of air in case of Bell-Coleman cycle. Now here you can see the air is in a closed loop, meaning the air is not coming in contact with atmosphere. That is why it is called closed cycle gas turbine. Now another this back work we have talked about. Here you can see this is called Sankey diagram. Okay, this type of diagram, it is called Sankey diagram. So here you can see this is the turbine work, and out of this turbine work you can see the thickness. This thickness indicates the amount of the work. Okay, now this thickness, out of this you can see around 50%, or it could be more than 50%, it depends, is supplied to the compressor. Here you can see the thickness, it is around 50%. Okay, usually it is 50% or more than 50% amount of work it is supplied to compressor, and because of that we will get WT minus WC net work. So net work is very small over here. Okay, and this situation further worsens if isentropic efficiencies are given. Okay, for ideal cycle, isentropic efficiencies for compressor and turbine are 100%. We are seeing in numerical as well. Okay, but here in this case, what happens if isentropic efficiencies are less? Then in that case, further this compressor work will increase and W net will decrease. Okay, now this is the open cycle gas turbine, where you can see the ambient air is taken in the cycle, and in the combustion chamber again fuel mixes and it becomes gas at point 3, and that gas is exhausted to atmosphere. So this is an open cycle gas turbine. After that, we had already seen this derivation before. This is the air standard efficiency or efficiency of Breton cycle, which is given by 1 minus 1 upon Rp raised to gamma minus 1 upon gamma, where Rp is pressure ratio given by P2 by P1 or P3 by P4. Now, this is a graph which indicates the efficiency, Breton cycle efficiency versus pressure ratio. Here you can see pressure ratio is there. Now, this graph has been drawn using this equation, which has been derived over here. Here you can see as the pressure ratio increases, the efficiency increases. So, if this pressure ratio increases, it is there in the denominator. If the pressure ratio increases, this part will decrease because it is there in denominator. So 1 minus smaller value means larger value. So efficiency increases. Okay, now here you can see we have two curves. One is for gamma equal to 1.4 and one is for gamma is equal to 1.66, or sometimes it is written as 1.667. Now when we take gamma equal to 1.4 for air, okay, or we can say diatomic gases. Now what are diatomic gases? Examples are air, nitrogen, carbon monoxide. For them we take gamma value as 1.4. Okay, whereas monoatomic gases, examples are argon, neon, helium. For them we will take gamma value as 1.667 or 1.66. Okay, so as here you can see the efficiency, it depends on two things. It depends on pressure ratio as well as adiabatic index gamma. So if gamma increases, then also here you can see efficiency value is increasing. Now just to help you understand a few things related to gamma, we'll see a table. So understand this table. This table has been shown for properties of various ideal gases. So here first thing is, this is table of ideal gas and the temperature is 300 Kelvin. Okay, so properties vary according to temperature. So here you can see the temperature is 300 Kelvin. Now for air, okay, here you can see R value is given 0.287 kilojoule per kg Kelvin, Cp is 1.005 kilojoule per kg Kelvin, and Cv is 0.718 kilojoule per kg Kelvin. And here gamma is not written. Here instead of writing gamma, they have taken K. Okay, in many textbooks or many places you will find specific heat ratio is taken as K instead of gamma. So it is basically Cp by Cv, and that value is 4, and that value is 1.4. So for air, which is diatomic, okay, this gamma is 1.4. Then carbon monoxide, if you see here also gamma comes out to be 1.4. But observe the values of Cp and Cv, they are different, but ratio of Cp and Cv will become 1.4 only. Okay, now also note that this we are considering air, all the things we are considering over here as ideal gas. Okay, so and at 300 Kelvin. Next, if you consider nitrogen N2, here also you can observe gamma value is 1.4. Okay, so in numericals, if it is mentioned in thermodynamics, gamma value is not given but nitrogen is mentioned, then you should assume this value of nitrogen as 1.4. Okay, for nitrogen, gamma value you have to assume 1.4. So you have to remember for diatomic gases, gamma is 1.4. Now we'll see monoatomic gases like argon. Here you can see gamma is 1.667. Then helium you can see gamma is 1.667, and neon you can see here also gamma is 1.667. But if you consider the Cp value, here you can see Cp is different, okay, for argon. Then for helium also, here you can see the Cp value is different, and for neon also the Cp value is different. Same way Cv value will be different, but ratio of Cp by Cv will remain same, that is 1.667 for monoatomic gases. Okay, so this is basic things related to the properties. Next, we will see the deviation of actual gas turbine cycle from idealized one. Now, if I want to draw the ideal gas power cycle, okay, or Breton cycle, it will be from 1 to 2i, then 2i to 0.3 will be at this location, then 3 to 4i you can see, and then 4 to 1. This red color will indicate the ideal cycle. Now, in actual case, what happens? This we are seeing in numerical. In actual case, what happens? Since there is friction during process 1 to 2, which is compression, entropy increases. Okay, irreversibility is there. So here you can see 1 to 2 actual cycle, entropy has increased. Then there is heat addition at constant pressure in heat exchanger. But in actual case, what happens? There is pressure drop. So here you can see this top pressure is the constant pressure, but there is a pressure drop. And here you can see the actual point, it is below the ideal point because of the pressure drop. Then same way, here you can see 3 to 4 processes there. Okay, and then this again here you can see this is not isentropic. Here entropy increases because of irreversibility, friction. Then again 4 to 1, here you can see this should have been the actual pressure, but here also, here you can see there is a pressure differential. Technically from this point it should have been like this, but here you can see from point 4.1 this should have been the point, okay, in original cycle. Okay, forget about this one, it would have been like this, 4i2, this should have been the point. But here the issue is what? Again there is a pressure drop. So here you can see from this point 4 to 0.1 there is a pressure drop. Okay, and then so basically here what happens, this process is non-isentropic, this process is non-isentropic, here there is pressure drop, and here also there is pressure drop. Okay, so this is the actual cycle. Then as I told you before, there are certain derivations in Breton cycle, okay, similar to the Otto cycle. So I'll give you the equations. We are not going in details of the derivation. For maximum work for Breton cycle, this should be the pressure ratio Rp, where T3 is Tmax and T1 is Tmin. So here you can see this T3 is the maximum temperature in the cycle, and the T1 temperature is the minimum temperature in the cycle. So this Rp pressure ratio will become optimum pressure ratio. When Rp is optimum, work from the Breton cycle is maximum. This you should remember. Then for maximum work, again the intermediate temperature, okay, this T2 and T4, they should be same, and there should be the geometric mean of maximum and minimum temperature, that is T3 and T1. And then we have expression for maximum work and the efficiency of Breton cycle when we have maximum work. So here basically we have 4 equations. What are those 4? We'll see those. We are not going in the derivation part. This derivation is similar to the Otto cycle. Okay, so here you can see this equation. Okay, this is the optimum Rp optimum equation. Okay, when this optimum Rp value is maintained, we get maximum work in Breton cycle. Okay, now understand this graph. This graph is important from GATE exam point of view or MCQ point of view. Okay, so this graph is W net versus pressure ratio. When pressure ratio is optimum, W net is W net max. Okay, that is this derivation which we have seen over here. Okay, when pressure ratio is 1, what is pressure ratio? Basically P2 by P1 or P3 by P4. Okay, so pressure ratio is 1 means what? This will overlap. Okay, 1 and 2 point will overlap and 3 and 4 point will overlap. Okay, so when pressure ratio is 1, W net will become 0, and when pressure ratio is maximum, then also W net will become 0. This we understand from this graph. And when pressure ratio is optimum, then W net is maximum. Then intermediate temperature, this also we had discussed. So when T2 and T4 intermediate temperatures are same and it is equal to under root of T1 which is minimum temperature and T3 which is maximum temperature. Okay, it's multiplication under root. So when this is the scenario, again the work from the Breton cycle is maximum. Then for maximum work, W net, this will be the equation Cp in bracket under root T max minus under root T mean, the bracket complete, the whole square. Okay, this is W net max equation. And when work is maximum, W net is maximum, what should be the efficiency of Breton cycle? Okay, so if we substitute this RP optimum, when we substitute RP optimum, we will get W net as maximum work. Okay, so in that case, if we substitute this RP value in the efficiency, we will get maximum efficiency. Okay, so this, if we simplify, we will get Breton cycle efficiency for maximum work. What is the value? 1 minus under root of T mean by T max. Then we'll see what is the effect of the pressure ratio on Breton cycle. Okay, so we had seen about the optimum pressure. Now we will see about the maximum pressure or pressure ratio equal to 1 and its effect on the efficiency. So as here you can see, this is the Breton cycle 1, 2, 3 to 4, 4 to 1. So if we try to bring this point 3 towards left hand side. Okay, this, remember this we had discussed in previous lecture also. So we will get this point as 3 dash, or if we further bring it towards left hand side, we will get it as 3 double dash. So here what you can observe, we are maintaining the same T max and T mean temperature. Okay, here you can see, but what we are trying to do over here, we are trying to shift this point 2 in upward direction. Here you can see this has shifted 2 dash and again this is shifted in upward direction. Finally what will happen, this point 2, it will go on this one only. Okay, T max only, and the Breton cycle will become equal to Carnot cycle. What is meaning of this? When pressure ratio is 1, okay, if you refer the previous slide, there also we had discussed W net is 0. Same way efficiency also becomes 0. And when RP is RP max, pressure ratio is maximum, then if you recall the previous slide, W net is 0. But the efficiency of Breton cycle becomes maximum. Efficiency becomes equal to the Carnot cycle. Okay, so this we understand from here. So this is the pressure ratio equation. So here if pressure ratio is more, then the efficiency will increase. Okay, and in the limiting condition, when the compression process ends at T max, meaning 1 to 2 is the compression process. So if the point 2 reaches this T max temperature, that is the RP has the maximum pressure. Okay, what is pressure ratio? It is P2 by P1. So what will happen, this point 2, when it reaches the T max, the pressure ratio will become maximum pressure ratio. Okay, but the work W net will become 0, but the efficiency of Breton cycle will become efficiency of Carnot cycle, meaning it is same as the Carnot cycle. Okay, again this is very important from GATE exam point of view and MCQs. Next we will see the comparison between the Rankine cycle and Breton cycle. Now here you can see first thing, this is the Breton cycle where we use air as the working fluid, where we don't have phase change. So no phase change. Okay, I'll write PC for phase change. Okay, whereas this part here you can see this is Rankine cycle where we have water and steam, and here there is there is phase change. Okay, now please note that this TH diagram we cannot draw on a same page. Why? Because this TH diagram will be for air, this TH diagram will be for water. Okay, definitely we cannot show this two cycles on the same TH diagram. Okay, just for understanding purpose, it has been shown on one TH diagram over here. So here if you observe this A, B, C, D to A, this is the Breton cycle. Whereas if you consider 1, 2, 3, 4 to 1, this is Rankine cycle. Okay, so Breton cycle has been shown in purple color and Rankine cycle has been shown in green color. Now here again I'll repeat the same things. In both Breton cycle and Rankine cycle, we have two constant pressure processes. Namely, in Rankine cycle we have 4 to 1 constant pressure heat addition. Here we have B to C. This is also constant pressure process. Next, 2 to 3. This is also constant pressure process, and here D to A. This is also constant pressure process. Whereas here 1 to 2, here C to D, these are isentropic processes, whereas 3 to 4 and A to B, these are both isentropic processes. So processes remain same, only difference is Breton cycle we have single phase, okay, whereas Rankine cycle we have two phase. Next few things are the specific volume handled by the air, okay, in the compressor. It is here you can see this specific, if you draw PV diagram over here, this specific volume will be okay as compared to the pump. Okay, this value, okay, it is more, but with respect to turbine it is less. Okay, so specific volume handled by the compressor, here this one A to B, it is less than the same gas in the turbine. Okay, for the turbine the specific volume will be more. So definitely the W net, okay, it will be available, okay, and the turbine work will be more than the compressor work, and we will get the W net, but it will be small because here you can see the compressor work is more in Breton cycle. But if you consider the Rankine cycle, okay, here you can see this pumping work is less, whereas the turbine work is more. Okay, again one more thing, for water which is from 3 to 4 where pump is used, here the specific volume is very less, and for steam is a gas, so here the specific volume will be very large. That you can see from the steam table as well. Okay, so that is why turbine work is much more greater than the pump work. Okay, that is why here the W net will be more in case of Rankine cycle. That is why for generation of the electricity, which cycle is preferred? If you consider Rankine and Breton cycle, Rankine cycle is used where? In the steam power plant, and Breton cycle is used where? In the gas turbine power plant. So steam power plants are more popular than gas turbine power plants to generate electricity. So the major application of gas turbine power plants, it is in the aircraft engine. Okay, we can generate, no doubt we can generate power also using the gas turbine power plants. Is it clear? Next, we'll see the comparison between the Breton and Otto cycle. So here if you observe, I'll show the Breton cycle in green color, 1 to 2, 2 to 5, 5 to 6 and 6 to 1. This is Breton cycle. And here again 1 to 2, 2 to 5, this is constant pressure, 5 to 6, again constant pressure, and 6 to 1. This is Breton cycle shown by green color. Then Otto cycle, okay, if I consider Otto cycle, 1 to 2, then constant volume heat addition, then isentropic expansion, and then constant volume heat rejection. This is Otto cycle, 1 to 3, 4 to 1. Here 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4 and 4 to 1. This is Otto cycle. Otto cycle is shown by red color. So what we can understand over here, if you observe the Breton cycle, which is shown by green color, it handles more volume. Here you can see as compared to red handles only how much volume. I'll mark the volume over here. Okay, Otto cycle, it handles this much volume only. Okay, so here the same point has been written. Okay, for same compression ratio. Okay, we are talking about the same compression ratio. What is compression ratio? Okay, it is volume after compression to volume before compression. So here you can see 1 to 2 for both Brayton cycle and Otto cycle, it is overlapping compression process. Okay, Brayton cycle handles more larger range of the volume. Okay, here you can see the range of volume is larger and small pressure. Here you can see this pressure is small for Brayton cycle, whereas if you see the Otto cycle, here the pressure range is larger. Okay, so smaller pressure range is there for Brayton cycle as compared to Otto cycle. Okay, and Brayton cycle, it has more rotating parts, so it is more balanced, whereas if you consider the Otto cycle, it is a reciprocating engine, so it has more vibrations. Okay, we have reciprocating motion, so here the balancing becomes difficult and there will be vibration in the structure below. Okay, so there are ways to isolate that vibration. Okay, that maybe you will study in the higher semester subjects. Okay, now we'll go to the next part, that is Stirling and Ericsson cycle. Okay, now here we have completed everything with the Brayton cycle. Okay, now the remaining 4 cycles are, I'll go to the slide directly. What are the 4 cycles? We have Stirling cycle, then Ericsson cycle, then Lanier cycle and Atkinson cycle. Okay, we are not going to see any derivation for this. Okay, we are only going to study the PV and TS diagram and some basic concepts of those cycles. Okay, so I'll go back to the previous slide here. We'll see a concept which is called regeneration. Okay, now Stirling engine or Stirling cycle and Ericsson engine or Ericsson cycle both have a concept called regeneration. What is that concept? I'll discuss it. Okay, before that we'll see some theory part. Now ideal cycles have, okay, this Stirling cycle and ideal Ericsson cycle, okay, they have efficiency lower than the Carnot cycle. Why? Because Carnot cycle is a totally reversible cycle, whereas Stirling and Ericsson cycle, they are internally reversible, but externally they are irreversible. Okay, so that is why Stirling and Ericsson cycle are internally reversible, externally irreversible. That is why their efficiency is less than or lower than Carnot efficiency. And Carnot cycle is totally reversible, meaning it is internally reversible as well as externally reversible. Then next thing is we can do some improvement in this ideal cycles, Stirling and Ericsson cycle, and we can think of them being totally reversible. Okay. Then next thing is we have actually a concept called regeneration in case of Stirling and Ericsson cycle. Now what is that regeneration? We'll see that. Basically that is a type of thermal energy storage system. Okay, how it works I'll tell you. Suppose we have 4 processes. Okay, this is process 1, process 2, process 3 and process 4. 4 processes are forming a cycle. Now what happens? There is a regenerator in some form in the cycle. What it does, it takes the energy from the working fluid whenever it is not required, and whenever it is required, it is stored over here in the regenerator, and whenever it is again required by the cycle, the same amount of energy is again sent back to the working fluid. This is called regenerator. Basically it is what? Thermal energy storage system, you can say. Okay, here the energy is stored when it is not required, and again the same energy is given back to the working fluid when it is required. Now how this is actually implemented in Stirling engine or Stirling cycle and Ericsson cycle, that we will see in the next slide. Okay, so we'll go to the next slide. Now here you can see there is a comparison between the Carnot cycle, Stirling cycle and Ericsson cycle. Now here you should understand few things. Okay, I'll explain you certain things. First, here you can see this is the PV diagram on the bottom side, and top side I have shown TS diagram. For Carnot cycle, Stirling cycle and Erikson cycle. Now if you see the Stirling cycle and Erikson cycle, okay, if you see the Stirling cycle and Erikson cycle, Stirling cycle will look like Otto cycle, okay, but there is certain difference, okay. In Otto cycle, this process is isentropic, this is constant volume, this is isentropic and again constant volume. But here you can see instead of being isentropic process for Stirling engine, for Stirling cycle we have isothermal process. Now as we had discussed before in module number 1, both isentropic and isothermal processes are curved on PV diagram. So that is why on PV diagram both cycles will look similar. But the difference is what? This process and this process is isentropic for Otto cycle. But for Stirling cycle they are isothermal. Okay, similarly if you see the Erikson cycle, it looks similar to Breton cycle on PV diagram. But what is the difference here? Here if you see the Breton cycle, this was isentropic compression, constant pressure heat addition, isentropic expansion and constant pressure heat rejection for Breton cycle. But if you see the Erikson cycle, here instead of having this process as isentropic, we have isothermal over here, constant temperature. Remaining two processes are constant pressure only. Okay, so basically Stirling cycle is similar to Otto cycle. Difference is these two cycles are isothermal instead of isentropic. Isentropic ये कहाँ पे था? Otto cycle में. Okay, same way in Erikson cycle it is a bit similar to Breton cycle, but in Breton cycle here we had isentropic, here also we had isentropic. Okay, but Erikson cycle we have isothermal and isothermal. Okay, now here you can see something has been written like regeneration in case of Stirling cycle, and in Erikson cycle also here regeneration has been written. Now how this actually works we will see. Okay, now if you consider the Carnot, Stirling and Erikson cycle, what is the similarity that we will see over here? Okay, here you can see this process 1 to 2, this process 1 to 2, this process 1 to 2. Okay, here also 1 to 2, 1 to 2 and 1 to 2. This is same. Okay, we have isothermal process in all the three cases, and this bottom part 3 to 4, 3 to 4 and 3 to 4 is same again in case of Carnot cycle. Okay, so in case of Carnot cycle, Stirling cycle and Erikson cycle, 3 to 4 processes are same. Where is the difference? Observe the difference. Where is the difference? In Carnot cycle, these processes are isentropic. Okay, whereas in Stirling cycle, these are constant volume. And if you consider Erikson cycle, we have constant pressure. Okay, so here we can find certain differences between the Carnot cycle, Stirling cycle and Erikson cycle. Next, we'll go to the Stirling cycle. Now, the Stirling cycle was originally conceived in 1816 by Robert Stirling. The peak has been shown over here. Okay, now understand this. This is a critical part to understand. Okay, because here regeneration is there. So understand it properly how it exactly works. So here basically we have two piston arrangement. Here you can see one piston is there, and here you can see one piston is there, and in between here you can see this pink color part. This is a regenerator. Okay, basically it is a type of energy storage system. Okay, now initially the piston is as shown at state number 1. So initially the piston will be at state number 1. On this is PV diagram, bottom one, and this top one is TS diagram. Now what happens? There is isothermal expansion. Now what happens in this case? Okay, the piston is at this position, this piston is at this position. Okay, heat is supplied. Okay, heat is supplied, and because of that we have isothermal expansion. Isothermal means temperature remains constant. Okay, so when heat is supplied, to maintain the same, initially the temperature inside the position over here is TH. Okay, so to maintain the same temperature during expansion, we need to supply some heat. So when heat is supplied, there will be certain expansion to maintain inside the same temperature. Okay, so here you can see 1 to 2, there is expansion, the piston will reach this position. Initially it was this position. Okay, so initially it was this position, and here you can see this is the volume axis. The volume has increased, so piston has moved in this direction. Okay, here you can see the piston has moved. Okay, so this is V1 and the piston has moved. This is state number 2 now. Now this is process 1 to 2. This is process 1 to 2. Now if you consider the second process, now what happens in the second process, understand it is a critical process. Now what happens, second process is heat rejection at constant volume. Where is this heat rejected? It is rejected to this regenerator. Remember that. Okay, it is not rejected outside. Okay, so what happens, this is the volume. This is the volume. Okay, so 2 to 3 process. This is state 2. This is state 2. This is state 2. 2 to 3 is constant volume process. So as it is, the pistons will move, meaning left hand side piston is also moving, right hand side piston is also moving. Okay, both are moving towards right, and internal volume is remaining constant. Meaning, if you consider this volume is similar to the above volume, this volume. Okay, so both the pistons are moving together towards right hand side. Okay, so here you can understand we have reached state 3. We have reached state 3, constant volume process. At the same time, what happens, the whatever gas is there in this left chamber, it gives its heat to the regenerator, and the air which is there on inside the right chamber, its temperature drops to T-low temperature. How this temperature reduces? Because the whatever air is there which is at TH temperature in the left chamber, it gives its heat to the regenerator while moving from left to right, and the right side whatever air is there, its temperature reduces to TL. Okay, now what happens, we have reached till point 3, then we have isothermal compression. Okay, next process is isothermal compression. Okay, so what happens, this is the initial position, point 3. Okay, what happens, heat is rejected. When heat is rejected, temperature will fall, right? To prevent the falling of the temperature, because here isothermal process is there is certain compression. Okay, so piston moves from this position, okay, in this position to this position, so that here you can see the volume reduces slightly. 3 to 4 process, 3 to 4. Okay, now since there is heat rejection, there are chances of temperature reduction, but the process is isothermal, so at the same time we have compression as well to maintain the T-low temperature. Now what happens, this is the volume, this is the volume inside, okay, at point number 4. Okay, and as it is, this piston, left piston will move towards left, right piston will also move towards left, maintaining this internal volume constant. Okay, and it occupies this state 1, meaning this volume, okay, top volume will match with this volume. Okay, but at the same time what will happen, here initially we had the temperature of air was T-low, and as both the pistons are moving towards left, the air which is having T-low temperature, it will move over the regenerator. That regenerator is having T-high temperature. Now the air will have the temperature of T-high, and this position we will occupy again the state 1. The air will come to the state 1 position. Now the temperature of this will become T1, and here this the temperature of the regenerator will drop to T0. Okay, so in this way the regenerator works, and the Stirling cycle works. Now I'll be sending you the actual video of this Stirling cycle as well in the later on in the group. Okay, next cycle we will see Ericsson cycle. Now Ericsson cycle, as I had told you before, it is similar to the Breton cycle. Okay, so here we have compressor and turbine. Okay, now instead of having isentropic compression and isentropic expansion process, we have isothermal compression and isothermal expansion process. Okay, next thing, here you can see, here there were 2 separate heat rejections, right? Here there was one heat exchanger, here there was one heat exchanger in case of Breton cycle. But here you can see there is a regeneration process. Okay, what is this regeneration process? Basically, whatever the air is going over here after the compressor, it receives the heat from whatever the turbine air is returning back in the regenerator. Okay, this is the regeneration process. So here basically 1 to 2 process is what? Isothermal expansion. Then 2 to 3 is heat rejection at constant pressure. Okay, basically that is regeneration. Okay, then 3 to 4 is isothermal compression, and 4 to 1 is heat supplied at constant pressure, where how we get this heat? Because of the regeneration. Okay, now this Ericsson cycle is named after the inventor John Ericsson. Okay, this is the photo of the inventor. Okay, so again here the same thing, comparison between the Carnot, Stirling and Ericsson cycle has been shown as we had seen previously. Next, so we have completed the Stirling cycle and we have completed the Ericsson cycle. Now we'll see the Lanier cycle and Atkinson cycle. Okay, now Lanier cycle, it was a idealized thermodynamic cycle, and this cycle it is used in pulse jet engine. Okay, now again as we had seen, we have power producing device and we have power consuming device. So like here, as it is written over here, we have pulse jet engine. Same way we have pulse jet refrigerator also. Okay, that I don't think it is there in your HVAC syllabus. Okay, but as here you can see pulse jet engine is there. Same way we have a concept of pulse jet refrigeration. Okay, now this pulse jet engine. Okay, and same way we have pulse jet refrigeration. Okay, lot of videos are available, and there is DIY, do it yourself type of engines as well. Okay, obviously you cannot actually do this, lot of cost will be involved, but you will find very good and what I can say, interesting videos on YouTube. Okay, even they are using like 3D printer are being used by certain YouTubers to actually manufacture this pulse jet engine or pulse jet. I think they have used that for pulse jet refrigerator. Okay, so you can explore that pulse jet engine and pulse jet refrigerator later on. Now here for the Lanier cycle, it is if you see the rest of the cycles, it is made up of, they are made up of 4 processes, but here you can see they are the Lanier cycle, it is made up of 3 processes. So here one process is absent. Which one is absent? Compression process is absent, and because of that the Lanier cycle has low efficiency. Now this Lanier cycle, it is based on the operation of the engine patented by Jean-Joseph Lanier in 1860. Okay, now what are the processes in case of Lanier cycle? 1 to 2 process is constant volume heat addition. 1 to 2 is constant volume heat addition. Okay, then 2 to 3 is isentropic expansion. 2 to 3 is isentropic expansion. Then 3 to 1 is constant pressure heat rejection. 3 to 1 is constant pressure heat rejection. So this is basically Lanier cycle. Okay, what is the application? Main application of this one is pulse jet engine. And here you have to remember that there is the compression process is absent, and because of that the efficiency of this cycle is less. Next we will see Atkinson cycle. Atkinson cycle, this type of engine, it is internal combustion engine. Internal combustion, it is also called IC. Okay, now there are 2 types. Internal combustion means it is the combustion is done inside the cylinder. We have external combustion as well. Okay, so IC engine, Atkinson cycle engine is a type of internal combustion engine invented by James Atkinson in 1882. Now this type of Atkinson engine, it has been used in Toyota Prius engine. Okay, so you can check this on Google. So if you observe, here we have basically observe the processes. 1 to 2 is isentropic compression, then 2 to 3 is constant volume heat addition, then 3 to 4 is isentropic expansion. Sorry, 3 to this will be 3 to 5. Okay, this will be 3 to 5 isentropic expansion. Here also we will have 3 to 5 isentropic expansion, and then 5 to 1 we have heat rejection at constant pressure. We have heat rejection at constant pressure. Now if you observe this Atkinson cycle, here we can divide this cycle into two parts. If you observe it carefully, first cycle is Otto cycle. So if you consider 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 to 1, this part becomes the Otto cycle, purple part. Whereas if you go back to the previous cycle, Lanier cycle, here you can see it is like this. Okay, so here this part, I'll show it by some other color. This part, if you observe, this part becomes the Lanier cycle. So if you see the combination of this Otto cycle and Lanier cycle, throughout, if you see this, it becomes like Atkinson cycle. Okay, same I can say for the TS diagram as well. Okay, here make a note that this is 3 to 5 and then this is 5 to 1. Okay. Okay, so we have completed with the module of gas power cycles.